In the beginning, the gods and animals raced to determine the form and function of our world. Then the gods told the people to run, and the animals showed them how. Running is an innate form of survival, a primal instinctual gift that with distance can become something more, enabling a runner to peel away the layers of conditioned existence by focusing the mind through the pain into a moving meditation.
Running is an integral part of our culture. It's not just the physical, it's also spiritual. It was a way we communicated. It's a way we communicated between nations and between ourselves with our gods that we need to remember.
Ultra running has had a great eye-opening effect on me. It's allowed me to become the person that I really am and have the time and the solitary thinking to be able to explore and develop that.
For me, ultra running is part of my yoga practice rather than me being an ultra runner who does yoga to stretch out. Ultra running for me is more about meditating in the mountains.
On September 24th, 2004, 51 brave souls embarked on a 100-mile journey of personal exploration on the beautiful and remote trails of southeastern Idaho's Bear River Range. The 21,000 feet of elevation gain makes the Bear 100-mile endurance run comparable to climbing Mount McKinley, the highest point in North America, and returning in one non-stop run. For some, this event is a race, but for most, this is a 35-hour test of endurance, challenging not only the physical body, but also the mind, and ultimately, the will.
Morning, Bob. How are you today? You ready to do this thing? You ready to do this?
I think so, yeah, as ready as I'll ever be. Got my first pacer, full of energy.
I am ready to race. And the last couple of miles here is fun, like, okay, we're going to do this today, and tonight, and tomorrow morning.
Got a good morning, though.
So far.
So far, right. We know that'll change.
Just lucky enough to be alive, to suffer this much. That's my motto for the day. At least I'm here.
See you in 26 hours.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
My name is Kelly Bradbury, and I'm from Smithfield, Utah, originally from Michigan. I moved to Utah 10 years ago this year, specifically to get my master's in geology and work as a geologist here in Logan and have a flexible schedule. The flexible schedule enables me to do my hobbies, one which is trail running. And so I fell in love with the mountains and couldn't even think about my life without them. Just going and running in them has become somewhat of who I am. Not so much of that I think of myself as a runner. It's more of something that I have to do just in discovering myself. That's what it's about for me, is connecting to the earth, breathing the smells. It's become a daily exercise in awareness. It'll be 6 years ago this summer that I started to ultra run. That was my first ultra running experience, and that was the Moonshadow Rose. And it was a great race. I loved that race, and I remember that's where I first met Mary.
My name is Mary Workman. I'm 42 years young, and I live in Manawa, Utah, which is a small mountain town, about 700 people. I'm surrounded by these beautiful hills, which I enjoy running in. Unfortunately, I still work, and I work in Salt Lake City in an oil refinery. I have done 8 100-mile runs. I've started 10, but I have 8 finishes.
I started running with her, started working on having goals towards becoming a better runner. It had been 3 or 4 years since I originally had thought of the idea as something that I wanted to do, and was progressively running longer and longer. Enough, running long every weekend to get the idea in my head that I could potentially do a 100-mile race and finish, and that I wanted to run the Bear 100.
The reason I love running these long-distance races is for the adventure. It takes you to a place inside your soul that not many people experience. It is spiritual. I love nature. 100 miles of beautiful trail through God's most gorgeous country invigorates me, inspires me, and as long as the highs are higher than your lows, it makes the lows worth it, and your highs keep you going.
The whole journey of the Bear has these sort of cycles where in the beginning you start out and you're just amped, you're ready to go, and you're, running and having fun and really just in a very simple-minded state, Things just sort of roll off your shoulder, and we all have our own way of praying, and for whatever reason, this has become my way of dancing with the breath, being reduced to just the inhale and the exhale. That allows me to remember who I am. To remember the beauty of nature. It fills you with hope, with the possibility of what you might be able to do if you put your mind to it.
The people that run these races are some of the most incredible people you'll ever meet. They're blue-collar workers, they're professionals, they're pulmonologists and electricians and tax lawyers. These are the kinds of people that run this stuff. And you see them in a context you don't normally see them. They're running around with virtually no clothes on in the middle of the woods, running through the night with lamps on their head, trying to keep from stumbling into trees that they think really are phone booths because they're hallucinating. My name's Phil Lowry. I'm from Springville, Utah. I'm the assistant race director for this race, and I also run it.
Errol Jones is the name, from Oakland, California. The Rocket by the people in the running community who've known me a long time.
Why would you want to run 100 miles in one shot?
Because I'm brain dead, which is what most of us are. Streaking the bear is any individual that finishes 5 consecutive bears in 35 hours that's allotted for you. So again, as I say, after the first year in 99, 4 of us made a pact to come back the following year. Myself, Hal Coyner, who's run all 5 up to this point, Mary Workman, and Tim. We came back the second year, and then I suggested to them, I said, well, it looks like we've got a streak going.
My name's Tim Semenoff. Park City, Utah is my home, and this is actually my 6th Bear 100. And you know, I come back here year after year because it's a fun event. It's a challenging race. It doesn't kill you, and it's just a lot of fun out there. And you may go through nice warm sunny days, and you may have pretty cold nights, and 100 miles is 100 miles. It's a long way to go, but it's you know, some of us who run ultras just think it's fun, and I have a great time out there, and enjoy running with people, talking to them, enjoy the people in the aid stations who are there to you know, make your journey safe and pleasurable, or as pleasurable as it can get for you. And also it's fun, I think, sometimes for the crew members and pacers who can come out and run the race with you. So it's just a lot of fun. It's something good to do on a weekend in the latter part of September.
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. My name's Jimmy Rublik. My age is 15. Well, what makes me want to run 100 is it's just so much more extreme than anything else other people do, and I love to do it, and I can't explain why I like doing it. It's just an awesome experience. You know, you're doing things that few people can do, and it makes you feel alive again, just like what rock climbers feel when they rock climb and stuff. It's just a really good feeling when I go out there. I just love every minute of it when I'm out there, so that's why I do it. It's just the best experience ever.
My name is Hans, H-A-N-S. I'm living in Germany usually 59 years, but now I'm here in the States. It's summertime for running 100 miles trail races.
Why? Why do you want to run?
I love it. Addicted. You know, I did many marathons in Europe and road races, and when I came in 99 around Kettle Moraine, 100 miles, I got addicted to that stuff. Through the lights, through the lows and highs and lows and highs, and since then I'm doing that. That's all.
What kind of advice did you give to
a
15-year-old runner?
No, I gave him the last race when we met together. Take it easy, slowly, keep going, eat and drink, and that's it.
I'm Michael Biddulph, live in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and I got into ultra running about 3 years ago when I saw somebody run a 40-mile race. I had run several marathons before, but had never really heard about going further than that, so I thought it'd be an interesting challenge to try to run 40 miles. And so that's what got me started in it, but I've always loved the mountains, and once I got the endurance built up enough that I could run 40 or 50 miles, I just fell into this trail running, which I've just kind of really grown to love a lot in the last couple of years, where I can use my endurance in my running and get into some of the most beautiful places on earth, and be in places where you never see anybody, another person all day, but you see a lot of wildlife and beautiful scenery. And I'd say that's probably my number one reason I love trail running is just for the beauty. You just feel real in touch with nature and with God's creations, and I really have a deep love for nature.
It's a beautiful time of year to have a race up in these mountains, because you know, the fall colors in late September at their peak, and there's the red maples down lower, and you get up higher and the Quakies are turning yellow, and it's just an awesome sight. The Bear 100 hasn't gone perfectly smooth any of the years that we've done it, but nobody's died. Everybody's eventually been accounted for.
I guess if you want a challenge in your life, it's a good one to have. A lot of us have enough challenges as it is, trying to raise families and have a good career and make a mark in the world in a good way. And so you got to keep this sport in perspective. It can be consuming to a point where it's not healthy. I mean, some people would say it's not healthy, period. $497 out.
506 out.
Hey, Paul? Yes. Pull the drop back for 529. He's coming in any minute.
Okay.
Gaining 40 pounds while being pregnant, there was incentive to sort of start running again, but also having very little time because, you know, I'd leave the house and my husband would be there with the baby kind of at the door when I got back, crying, ready, here you go, she's hungry. And so how do I not allow the training, which is such a big part of it, to take over my whole life?
Women have a lot of ability in a sport like this. Anybody who endures childbirth and being pregnant definitely has the capabilities and the physical stamina to be able to run a 100-mile race.
And after, you know, 25, 30 miles, you start thinking more about physical things and eating and being more sensible. Starting to walk a little bit here and there if the climbs are rough.
I just love being out there, being on the trails, always setting a new goal and trying new runs.
No, that's what I finished.
How's your man treating you today?
Oh, like a queen. Like a mountain goddess. 5:30 out.
Just remember not sleeping pretty much that whole week before the race, getting all my stuff together, all my drop bags, everything that's involved. The anxiety of not knowing for sure, it being completely unknown of whether or not you can do this.
So you want to know how the Bear 100 got started, huh? Well, I ran the Wasatch 100, and I had so much fun running it. I loved it. The first year I ran it, I finished 4th overall, and I was so excited, you know, to actually finish a 100-mile race the first time I attempted it, and then to do so well. I was just totally excited about 100-mile races, and then I heard that there was a limit on runners that could run the Wasatch, and I go, wow, you mean there's more people that want to run this than they'll allow? Well, we ought to start another race then. It was just as simple as that. My first thoughts were to have a race that went from Logan to Bear Lake and call it the Bear Lake Monster 100-mile endurance run. And then I was telling one of my running buddies about it, and he goes, just call it the Bear 100. That's short and simple. And I go, okay. That sounds good, Bear 100. So I was talking with my wife about, okay, where should we have a race? And she suggested, since I sell fish to Deer Cliff Inn up Cub River Canyon, she suggested I talk to the owner and see if we could start the race there and finish it there, do a loop course. You know, on paper, I found a pretty good course. You know, it looked like it might work, so then I had to go check it out. Well, the first section, the first 9-mile section, goes from Deer Cliff Inn over to Maple Canyon, and I got lost 2 or 3 times trying to figure out where that trail went. and then I finally figured that out, and then I headed up Maple Canyon. The trail takes you up into Franklin Basin and down to the Franklin Basin Road, and then up to Danish Pass. And when I got to Danish Pass, my original idea was to go down the Egan Basin Road, but I noticed a trail going up And I go, trail's better than road, so I headed up the trail, Highline Trail, that takes you up and over down into Gibson Basin, and then from there over and down to Beaver Creek, and then there's a 19-mile loop that we do there back to Danish Pass, and then from there we head on the Highline Trail north to Bloomington Canyon, which is really beautiful, and then Paris Canyon, and then over to Dry Basin, and then another 26-mile loop, and then back to Paris Canyon, over the mountain and back down the German Dugway and to the finish back to where they started. So you can imagine checking out that course, measuring it, that took a lot of time, and I barely pulled things together in time to do the race the first year, and it was a lot of work, but we did what it took to make the race go, and we had 14 out of 17 people finish the first year.
At about mile 30, I started to not feel that great. I wasn't able to eat very much. What was the other thing you told me to do? Go slower. You had two pieces
Sure,
of advice.
that and simply stay focused and disassociate, because it's not going to last. The deal is, no matter whatever it is, the bad and the good, they'll both pass. So you just have to stay the course. It's all only momentary.
Actually, we have an aid station. We record when runners come in and when they go out, and then give them food, water, drink, whatever they want. And most of them have drop bags that they bring and drop here so that they can change socks, put duct tape on their feet, which is the funniest thing.
Why do they do that, Jim?
I think it's to keep the blisters down, but it just seems funny for someone who doesn't run to think they're putting duct tape on their feet. Okay, just 5:32.
Doesn't look like she ran 28 miles.
I was ready to just hang out at the aid. Yeah. I'm thinking I'd just rather hang out and party today.
No, because you got a lot of seeing on the trail.
Well, I just kept thinking of all my friends who want to run. They'll be mad at me.
You can't let them all down. There you go.
You know, one of the great things to running the Bear for me is just having the support of your friends and family who have helped you along the way.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks, gang. Bye, friend. Tell them to hang in there. It's all about endurance. That's what it is. And that the reason why we do it is because of the camaraderie that exists in the sport, and it's unlike anything that you find anyplace else. And that's primarily what keeps me coming out. And a short memory for pain.
I think she's doing good today. She's nursing her heel a little bit, but she's been holding back on her training a little bit because of that. I think she'll be all right. As long as she's in a good mood and got a smile on her face, she'll be doing good. When she stops smiling, it's going to slow down.
And that red mark there is where he put the injections in that wound up weakening my Achilles tendon. So I have to be careful.
And in something like running the Bear, it's not a space that you created entirely on your own. There's a lot of effort that goes into having support from the people around you who love you.
Shoes or change shoes?
Is this what you look? Were you looking for these socks?
Oh, I like these shoes. But I'll take that if I can't find my windbreaker, because those are arm warmers.
Should we grab a potato on the way out?
You need to
eat.
You need to get enough.
That's enough,
The
really.
clips on your other side. Sorry.
It's just hard to eat sometimes. It's just, you're so tired of all that food. You just don't want to put another thing in your mouth.
It's definitely a challenge, and no matter how hard you train and how ready you feel for a race, you know that you're going to encounter a lot of problems. You know there's going to be things that develop during the race that you can't really predict. It was Dante that said that beauty awakens the soul to act, and I always think that that's really true. When I'm in a beautiful place, it seems like I have a lot more energy and have a lot more ability to do things that I might not be able to if I wasn't in such a pretty place.
Drugs.
Well, I think I did pretty good, huh?
Yeah, you did. You're doing better. You got rid of your stomach problem and heels hanging in there.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens once you get out past 12, 15, 18 hours. I think any reasonably good runner can run up to 50 miles or so by just being very fit, but when you get past the 50-mile mark, it starts to become a different kind of game. It's a lot more how much you want it mentally and how well prepared you are mentally to deal with all the things that are going to happen.
Between 39 and mile 50, I started the battle in my head of, okay, I just gotta make it to this next aid station. Started to take over as I was entering the possibility of this not happening.
Don't let the mountain beat you. Be Wile E. Coyote and use every strategy you have, every resource you have to beat the mountain. When you have nothing else, just realize you can do it on willpower alone. The race is the enemy. And then you have to overcome the race.
You want to sit down up here or down by the truck?
These other people that are running, they're not the enemy. They're not the competitors. They're just friends out on the trail. The race is what competes with you. The race is out to beat you.
Yeah, great. Somewhere there's a
So you have to beat the race.
Right here.
Okay.
Almost inevitably, things will go wrong. You won't just get tired, but you'll have cramps, you'll have an ankle problem or a knee problem or a back problem or a blister problem or a stomach. Stomach is a big issue in a lot of races. It's cool here today, so it'll be probably less common here than in a hot race, but people get nauseous, and dealing with that is the kind of thing that having a big problem and then overcoming it somehow makes the satisfaction of finishing just that much greater. So it's that, mental tenacity that you're just going to keep going. It's a hard thing to describe, but it's that fierce competitive nature and the knowing going into it that you're going to have these periods.
For me, it's more of a vision quest in trying to attempt to do something that I think it's so unknown and I don't know if it's possible. But that's part of what makes me grow as a person when I'm out there, is that at any moment I can fail.
You can laugh, yeah. You came by car, did you? Oh my God.
Well, psychologically, you really go through a lot of ups and downs, especially in the second half of the race. I think in the first half, you're fit enough to usually get through it without major problems. In the second half, fatigue starts to really become an issue. And it clouds your thinking to some degree as well.
You're looking good, Kelly.
It's muddy. Feeling better than I was a little while ago. But
good for you.
It's just a hard road that I'm not sure I'm cut out for, or not cut out for. Just, I don't want it bad enough. I like to be comfortable. And I'm not comfortable right now. It's just a mind game. And my mind wants to go to sleep. And be with my kid.
When the sun first sets and the moon rises, the darkness is enjoyable. It's really quite peaceful and quiet during that time, and you kind of settle into a new rhythm for a few hours anyways, and then about midnight or later it starts to wear on you and your eyes are too heavy and you just start craving sleep and rest.
What's your number?
524.
524. Do you have a drop bag?
Negative.
Keep your thoughts positive.
I will.
You got 4 miles. It's just an uphill road and it flattens out in about 3.
Okay, where am I going?
I never really thought about anything other than I'm just out here and I'm going to keep moving. And you get into that sort of single purpose mindset and just keep doing it. And it also helps to have a pacer who can cheer you up and sort of coach you a little bit along the way. And things start to go wrong, and it's almost universally true, whether it's the fastest runners or the slowest runners. Your body starts to break down sometimes in unusual ways, and you start to have little problems, and so you start to have to deal with things going wrong. It's the dealing with it that really makes it a unique task to complete something very long. And then there's the whole circadian rhythm thing. The way these races pan out, most of them start first thing in the morning. And so at the point where you get to 75 or 80 miles, you're in the middle of the night. And you normally are asleep, and now it's 2 in the morning and you are out in the middle of nowhere trudging up some trail. That's really hard. You start to come around to dawn again. And then hopefully after that you're close to done.
What are you doing here? You just want a sock change, or?
I'm just gonna put some duct tape across the horse.
What size are we looking for?
I'm gonna just wrap it around.
Okay.
The same one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or peanut butter and jelly.
Is there any juice here?
Fear of failure is big, and I definitely have the tendency to sort of, when things start to go south as far as pain and running, or to dwell more on the pain rather than on just, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. I noticed that, my breathing changed. My mental state changed to one of a defeated, more of a defeated role, and just how much that plays into keeping your motion moving forward versus sort of staying where you are and curling up into a ball and giving up.
I paced her from 39 to 50, and it was pretty good. She was definitely, towards the end, starting to get tired. She was kind of mentally having sort of a hard time. And physically, she's saying that her knees hurt, and that, that is worrisome. But I bet most people out here who are running 100 miles probably have sore knees, but she doesn't want to do any permanent damage, and none of us want her to do that.
One of the things that helped me to finally leave 74, ultimately, it was the memory of a dear friend of mine who had passed away about 6 months before, and he was supposed to be one of my pacers. So I sort of set the intent for the race, and completing the race is doing it in memory of him and the fact that I'm lucky enough to still be alive and to still be here. And in some way, by keeping going, I would somehow honor his memory.
I think if we just Vaseline it, it'll be fine.
I'm pretty lucky in that I have tough feet. It's one of my gifts as a runner. A lot of other people maybe struggle a bit with their feet. People have to duct tape their feet, pop their blisters, bag balm the whole time.
My husband Brent has been my anchor pacer, meaning the last one to bring me to the finish line, ever since the beginning.
Keep it up, nice job.
Thank you. Hey, we'll see you at the finish. Maybe I should explain a pacer is somebody that keeps you company, keeps your mind alert, somebody to talk to.
Oh, thank you so much, Tori.
What else did you need?
Somebody to whine to sometimes. Somebody who also looks out after you when you might not be so good at doing that yourself, to make sure you are eating and you are still drinking. You have to stay very focused out there on the trail. It becomes a pressure. From 30 miles on, you realize you've come so far, doing so many things right, eating right, drinking right, staying on your schedule, pacing yourself, that you become more acutely aware of the fact that you have to be careful from here on out. Don't blow it.
You're constantly pushing your limits. You're getting to a place that you thought was impossible, but then you find a way to keep going.
You look better than most. Anything else you need?
I don't want to be some of those people back.
You bet. No, I think everything's good.
How do I get out of here?
Hey!
Nice.
Dude. Mad man.
Hey! Hey!
Oh man. That was a good day.
It was a good day.
Felt good all the way. Beautiful course. Great crew. Great pacer. No, that was a fantastic day. That was a whole lot of fun.
Can you believe all those people we passed?
Oh,
like
no,
getting back
from
to
Parrot,
50
Dry
or whatever
Basin
it
to
was.
Ferris.
Oh man.
That's devastating. Oh man.
And I hit that checkpoint at 83 and they're at 57. Sucks to be you guys.
Once the sun starts to come out again, you get a renewed sense of energy and being able to sort of pick up the pace a little bit more. Your awareness gets heightened. You notice the light more, smells, taste, touch, of course. Your body can be very sore. And deep down, you know that you've done your job. You accomplished your goal. Something that seemed maybe impossible. And just the elation of running, you get the chills. Physically, you're still moving, and mentally, you're going, how can I still be moving?
Hey.
Hey, Bob.
You need a hug?
Yeah. Oh, Lee.
What happened?
Oh, come on, Leland. Shit, everything happened. The bear bit me in the behind.
Yep.
That was a tough race with the snow melt and the mud. It was pretty,
Yeah, see, a lot.
And it was brutally cold last night. It was tough to deal with that snow. Climbing up out of Paris, once you got to the other side, it was so muddy and slippery that if you had a bad knee,
Oh,
boy,
really?
it wouldn't
Oh,
have done.
Tim, I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't get to see that then. So
Yeah.
there was snow at that section too?
Yeah.
Kelly was moving okay, but really, struggling.
Mentally, psychologically.
Yeah, but she has real pain in her knees, and so nobody but her knows what that is.
And see, and I know because I had the same thing. And it's about endurance. And only you know when you get to that point that you can't endure anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She didn't want to leave 50 because she knew that she didn't want to leave 74, and she didn't want to quit at 74 because she said, why should I leave here if I'm just going to quit at 74? And we're like, well, let's just go to 57 and see how things are.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's been.
And see, and I applaud her because she did all of the things that I didn't do. Because at Bloomington, that's what I said to myself, well, why go on to 50 when I know I'm going to quit? I might as well just stop here.
That's an easy.
see?
That's an easy argument to construct. And there's
and
logic
so
to it.
I did, and that's what I was telling Leland. I just didn't have the will to go on anymore. It's not that I couldn't, but I was going to be dragging a leg. And the truth of the matter is, in the end, the likelihood of me finishing wasn't very good. In Kelly's case, I think it was different. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it was, because she's on the way.
There is a certain feeling when you've done this that I cannot describe. When you finish a 100-mile race, it feels like nothing else in the world in terms of being able to say you accomplished that.
Kelly!
And pretty much the last 7 miles, we just ran as fast as I could run. It was about all I could do. I had my tunes up pretty loud and just kept going. When I finally crossed the finish line, I was quite happy that I had finished, even though for so much of the race I wanted to quit. So it was a good day. To finish on a high note like that gives me the craving to want to do it again. Now I gotta get my foot behind my head. That's the next goal.
I'll pay big money to see you do it.
Not right now. This is the winner of the self. Oh, thank you, Tay.
That's what I'm saying.
Your mom will be okay.
When I crossed that finish line, it was a flood of emotions. And as I talked to the race director, Leland Barker, one side of me was emotional, trying to hold back the tears. And then the other side was so elated for the accomplishment and grateful for the support that I have had to be able to accomplish that goal. My Achilles tendon was on borrowed time when I started this race, and it was fraying apart from the attachment of the bone to my heel and just causing that rip and tear to worsen. I realized that at any time it could snap, but the beauty of the country and the uplifting spirit of my husband and soulmate, his smile would lighten my heart. His presence eased my pain, and I knew it was a matter of just putting one foot in front of the other, and eventually I would reach the finish line.
In the time of 31:36:39, Mary Workman has run the fair every year. She hurt a little bit more this year, but she made it.
The first thing that came into my mind is I wanted to walk that last 15, 20 feet on that sore heel and aching knee as straight as I possibly could, as proud as I could, and accept that buckle in the spirit that I finished the race.
I don't know, a 15-year-old kid running the bear. I don't know about this. He promised his dad would run with him, which he did, so that eased my fears a little bit, or a lot. So, in the time of 33:49:10, Jimmy Rublitz. 32nd place in the time of 32:54:30, all the way from Germany, Hans Dieter Weisar. 21st place in the time of 30 hours and 32 seconds, Kelly Bradbury. All right, now we come to the number one finishers. Came in 22 hours and 13 seconds, Larry O'Neill.
Running the Bear 100 was definitely something that I'd wanted to do for years, and finally finishing was, an amazing experience in my life. I think I ultimately learned the lesson of what the mind is capable of when it turns around, but also what the body is capable of. So I realize how important it is to have the positive attitude while you're doing something like this. Why do I do this? People always ask you that, and you're always asking yourself, And I think, you know, deep down that it's not something that I know the answer to, that it's just something that's chosen me.
I'm not a biker, no hitchhiker, not a four-wheeling fool. A man from the pool, no, I'm a hot-footin', high-flying, running man, yeah, high-flying, no crying, mountain man, yeah, gut-bustin', dust-cussing, running man. Well, maybe I'll take you to the top of the mountain to watch the sun go down. Or maybe we'll cruise along the ocean shore to feel the waves splashing down. Whatever we do, we'll feel much better if we take our time. They say I'm crazy, well maybe a two-legged fool. I think it is cool, yeah, I'm a hot-footin', high-flying, running man, yeah, high-flying, no crying, mountain man, yeah, gut-bustin', dust-cussing, running man. Well, maybe I'll take you to the top of the mountain. I promise to go real slow. Or maybe we'll run away together to see how far we can